So welcome back to the ThriveVest podcast. Today we have our guest, Sam DeMaio from Showcase Remodeling. Sam, just introduce yourself really quick.
Sure. My name's Sam DeMaio. I'm from the area. Definitely glad to be here and talk further with you guys.
Yep. All right, sweet. So let's start off from so you joined the Army at how old? 17?
17. Yeah, so my
And
junior year of high school.
so from what I saw online is that you were a Cav Scout as well?
Yes.
Phew,
19
that's
Delta
nuts.
Cavalry Scout.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. I figured let me pick the craziest job. I think the life expectancy on the battlefield was like 7 seconds.
Yeah.
I said, give me that one.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
my brother's an Army Ranger. He's a
That's great.
nutcase
Oh, yeah.
as well. But did you deploy at all anywhere or anything?
So I've been to Germany.
Okay.
I did a lot of like stateside things. I was, again, I had my other job too. So, yeah, so I've been pretty much all over the years.
All right. And then and then teach us on a little bit of your background in law enforcement.
Okay. So 17 joined the military. Boot camp, Fort Knox, Kentucky, came back, finished my AIT, Fort Knox, Kentucky, right into Camden County Jail. I became a correctional officer there at 19 years old. Bought my first duplex at 19 years old right after
Really?
that. And kind of made that switch into I wanted to be a police officer the whole time. Obviously, it was like a stepping stone. But meanwhile, when I bought my duplex is where I really started to find my real niche, which was designing, working on houses. It was so much more fun than, not that babysitting was good, but, definitely, making something look really nice. That was like my knack and that was my calling. So, switch over to police, Gloucester Township Police at 24, 29. I already had my business going and decided to jump full in there and, the rest is kind of history.
What was like that initial start like? Because I'm assuming it wasn't easy, getting in your first duplex so young.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of set a goal for everything. Anything I did when I joined the military, I set goals, little goals, long-term goals. One of my goals was to become a police officer. Another goal was, hey, I had a little thermostat in my locker at the jail. So every time I had money put to the side, I'd literally start filling up that thermostat until I got to my $10,000. Once I had my 10,000, then I said, okay, now I'm buying my duplex, and that's what I did. And then I reset that thermostat, new thermostat, another house, and kind of started building that up. And then, everything that I did kind of evolved around, making money. I really didn't go out all that much. That wasn't like a thing I really was interested in, and learning, and then, investing in myself. So, as I started to grow, in law enforcement, also the business, I decided, hey, I know I can make more money with the construction, remodeling, real estate than I ever could as a police officer, no matter what rank I got to.
Now, so at a young age, it sounds like your morals were like in place. Did you have somebody guiding you throughout these steps, or was this just kind of like naturally like brought upon you?
So I was a dork, like I was a straight up nerd. I'll be honest with you. So when everyone went out, I just stayed home, right? So and not that I studied, but I played sports. I played wrestling, football, all that fun stuff. But I was also on the other side. I was real religious, so at the Catholic school, pretty much my whole life. So I was in the chorus, I was in the choir. I was the only kid in the adult choir. But I kind of liked working on myself and things that I did were a little different. So like as a kid, instead of watching cartoons, I was watching Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. And my dad's like, "What are you doing? Do you want to work for my dad?" I pretty much was trying to figure out. You can pay me $3 an hour. I'm like, I have to work 25 hours to make $75. This is crazy. It's gonna take me forever to get out. But again, it was kind of like all number. Everything's numbers. So numbers equal goals. Milestones equal that. KPIs get you where you need to be. And then when you set up that long-term goal and work backwards, that's how you're going to hit those goals and how long it's going to take you to hit those goals and what you need to hit those goals.
Okay.
So a perfect example is that if you want to do $5 million a year in whatever business you do, how many people do you need to do that work every single day for you to hit that $5 million a year? And if you work it backwards per day, it's a lot easier to bite off the little pieces of the elephant than trying to eat the whole thing at one time.
So it's really all just based off of like input output. So I have this many people doing this amount of stuff per day, and then the output eventually ends up to as 5 million ARR.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't get any easier than that. So when you first got your duplex, how long after that were you like, I need to get into the home remodeling industry?
Good question. So bought my first duplex. I couldn't afford to pay another person to fix it up. So I figured, let me learn how to do this myself. So I painted the whole place in a whole day, literally day and night. I worked 17 hours, got the whole place, two units too. all painted, all done. Was it a good job? Probably not. It's probably absolutely horrible. But you know what? I did it, and it looked okay to me, and you know, I got it rented. But I feel like, you know, as I started to you know, learn different things, I really started, you know, taking a liking to it. And then when I hired, you know, I hired my cousin for a job. He was like doing it on the side for a different rental property. He's like, hey, we should do partners. I said, yeah, sure. So we did that for a little bit. Actually, a lot of it. We did it for like 4 or 5 years. We built that business up. It was like insurance business. He took that over. I started a flooring store, and I started Showcase Flooring. Now it's Showcase Remodels. But I wanted to be in and out in a day. I figured that was way easier than doing, you know, a whole house fire, which could take, you know, months of, you know, back and forth with the adjuster arguing. And then, you know, then the people, you know, they're out of their house, and just dealing with those customers for a long period of time, it wasn't my thing. And I worked as a police officer. I wanted to be in and out. And then when I left the police department, that's when I said, hey, it's time to start flipping properties. So I bought my first property, 30 grand. That's the only money I had to my name at that time. And then, you know, it took me 6 months to fix it up. Every weekend I had a little extra money. I go to Home Depot, buy a little bit of supply, go and work on the house. 30 grand later, 60 grand total in. Sold the property for like 125. Now I had money. And then once I had that, it was a rinse and repeat cycle with doing just that, just flipping the houses. I flip two, I buy a house cash. I flip two, buy a house cash. And, you know, that's where I got to, you know, now I'm up to 48 houses, and, you know, those rentals bring in, they pay for my lifestyle, and now the business part just for fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's a great story. I want to talk more about too, like going into it. So like, were you doing it alone when you started like rebuilding like the duplexes and everything? And like, were you just by yourself, or did you have people like delegating tasks too and everything like that?
So I did most of it myself, but the things I couldn't do, I got my cousin to help me out and do those type of things.
Okay.
Until I learned how to do them.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
my dad was a plumber, so I knew how to do plumbing already.
So it
Not
was all
perfect, but
hands
good
on
enough.
then, basically.
Oh yeah,
You learned from all the mistakes hands on.
absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, that's a great way. Another thing I want to talk about too is from transitioning from being a cop. Like, did you get the pension and everything? You like fully retired from being a cop?
So you get 10 years in, so like 65, I'll get something.
Okay.
Probably enough to go to Wawa, buy a coffee. That's about it.
When you like were first starting your business, and so do you have equity split in between other people? So or do you just own 100%
I
of
own
the
100% of the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so when you onboard other people to work under you, how do you create almost like a team aspect of a business? So it's like everybody is working towards one goal rather than just like the sole driver has his opinions on things. Like how do you get everybody under the same idea?
So now you're talking about culture building.
Okay.
It's huge. It's huge. So, you know, what you allow and what you set the bar to and what you allow people to get away with, that becomes your culture. So if you have a culture of people being losers, you're going to be a loser. If you have a
Okay.
culture of being good to people, treating people well, and growing with people, and when you do good, they also do good, that's what I want. So I could tell you the guy who started me is my helper,
Mhm.
you know, 20 plus years ago, you know, now is fully set for life. He literally went from my helper now, and now he owns a house. His whole family we brought over here from Honduras. He's been with me for 22 years. You know, both his sons, his wives, they all work together. I always say, you don't work for me, you work with me. We're a big team. And, you know, he never asked me for anything, but if he needs anything, I'm always here. Just like if I ask him, you know, hey, I need you to pick me up at 4 a.m, the guy's coming at 4 a.m, and I do the same thing for him. He's just that type of guy. But, you know, in return, hey, I did well. So why not give it back, right?
Okay.
So I bought him a house. He has a beautiful house. He has beautiful cars. You know, and you know, does he have to work now? Probably not. But you know, he's just so culturally driven, and he loves the business just like I love the business. You know, he helped us build it up, and then you know, as people started to add on to the company in the beginning, you know, no one wants to work for you because you're brand new. Maybe you don't have a lot to offer. Maybe you can't do the 401k at the time, or the health benefits at the time. But you know, as you start to grow, and people see, hey, this guy's doing good, but so is his employees.
Mhm.
Everyone wants to come with you.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be a part of Showcase. Now, every single day we have 3 or 4 applications in, and unfortunately we can't take everybody. But listen, the cream of the crop we will take. I take A players all the time, or I'll take a B player that doesn't really know much of anything with a great attitude, train him in to my culture instead of trying to take someone that already knows what they think they know everything, and they'll become a cancer. You got to cut them out right away.
Yeah.
I want to emphasize on that too, like the aspect of not just hiring somebody for their ability, but for who they are as a person, like their morals and like the grit that they have. Because we learned about that a lot when going to like masterminds and like seeing all of it. Sometimes it's better to hire the person that doesn't know what they're doing, but they have the good intentions and want to learn, rather than hiring the person that knows what they're doing and doesn't care.
Absolutely.
Because you
Absolutely.
can grow with that person and make it like your partner, and then you give equity, and then now it's a full circle like idea of the business, and you guys can grow.
Absolutely.
So that's something important for like smaller business owners, especially because we've seen that there's people out there we could pay a large sum of money that could do a good service, but it's not worth it because they're not going to give you the full passion in it. So that's something I like to highlight within like the starting a business aspect, because
Definitely.
we have a lot of more like influence on people starting businesses with our podcast and everything. So
Absolutely.
I
And
like
then
to
and the
highlight
other
that.
thing with hiring, there's different positions within the business, and certain people are good for certain positions. We have like a almost like a disc assessment that'll place them into what position they fit in the right seat. And if they don't fit in the right seat, there's no reason to even put them there. Sometimes they'll be more customer service oriented. Sometimes they're more mechanical, where they'll be like a lead technician. And my test pretty much tells me exactly where they fit in, ranked from 1 through 9. So it's definitely something that I looked into later in life once I started getting around people that do it and hire at a high volume. This way you can scale the business. Because again, that's my next step to scale, my 1-day bathroom business, eventually a roofing business, kind of take it from there.
Okay. When did you know like you were at the point to where you can start hiring people and paying them on like a monthly basis, for example?
So what I did is I came up with I call it the replacement ladder, right?
Okay.
And that's pretty much a group of tasks. When you start off, you're wearing all the hats in the business, but as you grow, you got to start replacing those steps, those areas, so it frees you up for more time. So the first thing that you want to free up that's going to not cost you a lot of money is administration, answering the phone,
Okay.
setting the appointments. You can get a VA, $3 or $4 an hour, overseas. So it's really easy to have them, they could even type up the estimates, deal with customers on the phone, do the scheduling, all that fun stuff. Once I had that done, next thing is going to be the delivery, which is the installations.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, the part where you got to basically take what and you can do, and pass it off to somebody else and make an SOP for it, standard operating procedure,
Mm-hmm.
set up KPIs, performance-based pay, all that fun stuff. Leave that with the guys. Let them build up their culture now. Leave it to them so you can work on the sales. Once you get the sales process down, now you need marketing. Once you get the
Mm-hmm.
marketing guy replaced, and you keep going until you get to the leadership. Then once you get to the top level, I call it culture building. So you want to build the culture of your team.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's game.
Yeah,
game.
I mean that really sums it up for me.
And another thing too, so I feel like there's like a divided thing within your business. So you have the home remodeling, and then you have like purchasing properties and running them out.
Sure.
So what aspect of it do you think really started like pushing it fast and your momentum with it? Was it the business that took it off, which was able to drive you to get more properties, or was it slowly building the properties, getting your portfolio together, and then growing from there?
So I think it was a mix of everything. It was constant growth, not fast growth, constant growth with a good foundation. As I made mistakes, I replaced the foundation with a stronger foundation. And then once I got to a certain level, I look back and go, oh my God, look what I did in 10 years. You know what I mean? 10 years, built that thing up. Because when I left, the police department, literally in 10 years, I was a millionaire. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
once I got that done, I didn't realize I was until I was in the millions. You know what I mean? So I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? And once you get to that level, it's like, oh my God, now what? What's next? What can I do next? Well, next is, hey, now I want to have 100 million. So my new goal is, hey, I want to be at 100 million. How do I get there? That's more of systems, processes, and a scalable model. Whereas right now, what we have is, I have pretty much a unicorn. Like the people that work for me, unicorns. They're really good. They're the culture driven. You can't scale that business, right? To a certain level you can, but I think we're the only business that does the numbers we do with zero marketing other than a little bit of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Our word of mouth is so strong. We got 4 to 6 leads a day, and they're all strong leads. These are people that want us because we could do things that other companies just can't. Not to say we're better. It's just we're just in tune with doing nicer things, average to nicer, right? And then on the 1-day bathroom side, that is something that it's scalable. We've been doing it. It's our second year.
Mm-hmm.
We're 7 months in, 8 months in, right? We're in August now.
Yeah.
First full year, and we'll do about $4 million, first year go around. And again, I want to double that next year. I want to do 8 million, and I want to
Okay.
get that business up where, hey, we're doing, right now we're doing 30 bathrooms a month. I'd like to get that up to 100 bathrooms a month in this area here, this region. And then I want to move regions. And then once I get that up to a certain number, hey, then I have something that's worth something.
Yeah,
It's
that's
that growth mindset. Because like
yeah.
you, from like our perspective, and like majority of people when they see you, you live a lavish lifestyle, you have all these nice things, but like you're still going.
Oh,
Like
I go
you're
nonstop
Yeah.
not
all day.
settling.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you show up on days when you don't feel like it? Because I feel like most people think that like successful entrepreneurs are just always motivated, but like what is the one thing that drives you to show up every day, even when you're sick or you feel like you just don't feel like doing it?
Right. So I think I was born competitive. Like I am
Yeah.
so competitive. Losing isn't in my vocabulary. I'll do whatever it takes to win, no matter what. I don't care if I'm sick. The sick days, that's the one that defines you, right?
Mhm.
You don't go to the gym because you're not feeling good. That defines you. That
Mhm.
tells you, hey, you don't want it that bad. Because listen, the way I say it is, as hard as you're working, there's always someone out there working harder wanting to take it from you, and I won't let them take it from me. I'm going to make sure that I push through so hard
Yep.
that it can't be taken. And that's kind of what I'm working towards. And that's what I do every single day.
I want to go back a little bit too. So you were talking about like growing your connections and having like a word of mouth that's very strong. I feel like a lot of that's networking too. So how do you go about the networking aspect and like spreading your name, spreading your connections so you can get jobs done faster, get bigger jobs in the future? Like networking's so important within the business realm and like kids in our age, like with LinkedIn. So how do you deal with the networking, keeping up with them? Like how do you manage it all?
So again, I feel like as you start to be around different people that you vibe with,
Mhm.
and finding those true connections and people that also want to do good. People that do good want to hang out with people that do good, right?
Mhm.
And people that want to be better also want to hang out with people that do good. And if you want to be better and you start hanging out with people that do good, you're going to start to do good. Because everyone says you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most, right? So if you're hanging out with people that are, millionaires, guess what? You're going to become a millionaire because these guys are talking about growth. They're talking about business. They're talking about their struggles and how they beat it.
Mhm.
And they're talking about, hey, how can they get to the next level? If you're hanging out with those guys, it's just inevitable that's going to happen to you because that's what you're talking about. Now, on the vice versa, if you're talking about people, if you're talking about negative things that happen to you all the time, if you're talking about, hey, you can't get out of this black cloud, guess what? You're going to be stuck in that black cloud forever. So all those people, I give them zero time. I literally cut them off. As they're talking about complaining, I'm like, hey, we're done. I'm out. I don't talk about that. I really don't. And if someone's in, it comes in a bad mood, I'm like, do me a favor, go home. Come back tomorrow happy. If not, you're done. Like I don't want unhappy people. I want
Yeah.
everyone to be. Listen, not everything's perfect,
Mhm.
right? We have something that's going to hit you, especially business. Something's going to hurt. It'll hurt, but guess what? You just take it, you fix it, and you keep moving. There's nothing you can do about it. You can only control what you can control. So that's kind of how I handle all that stuff.
That's a great motto.
How so like in business, a term that gets thrown around a lot is shiny object syndrome, to where, like let's say like for example, me and Jimmy, right? We've only been doing what we're doing now for like 7, 8 months, something like that.
Yeah.
How do you, when you were first starting out, how did you avoid going towards like the next business model that's flashy? Because people get stuck in a current cycle to where it's like they try something, they realize it's hard, and then they're on to the next thing, and then they realize that's just as hard as the past thing,
Sure.
and then they're doing something else, you know?
Yep. So that's like a great question. So I'm not gonna tell you I'm the best at not chasing the shiny object, right?
Okay.
Um, so what I can tell you is this: I never worked for anybody else in construction, so I never knew which way was right, which way was wrong. I never went to any of these coaching or networking programs. I always thought I could do everything on my own, which I was wrong. But at the same time, I pushed so hard that I made it work for me, right? So all my systems, all my processes that I came up with, they're totally different from everyone else that I talk to. And not that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They made it for me to get to a certain level. But to get to that next level, you got to be open to seeing what they have and what they offer. And listen, don't listen to everybody. You know what I mean? Everyone's making millions and millions of dollars, but most of them really aren't, right?
Yeah.
So they could say whatever they want. Facebook is fake book, right? I could say anything I want
That's funny.
on there. But at the end of the day, whatever works for you. The name of the game is, in business is, the number one rule is, in business is to stay in business.
Yeah.
You need that money to be flowing in. So what I did in the beginning is I did everything. Like literally, someone said, hey, can you come move me from one place to the other? I'm like, No problem. I'll come
Yeah.
move you. I'll rent a truck. I'll move your truck. Hey, can you do my bathroom? Sure, I'll do that too. Hey, can you put this addition on? I have no idea how to do it, but guess what? I'll figure it the hell out. Right? I'll figure it out. So I go there and do that. Doing all that stuff, you know, it was great because I got the experience. And I know how to do a little bit of everything. Do I know everything? No. But I had the
Yeah.
resource to do everything, right? And then what I did was later in life, I found a guy on Facebook that I go, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And all he was doing was this little, you know, bathroom thing. I could do that. Reach out to him. He goes, yeah, you're working way too hard to do it. And I love what I'm doing, so it's not really work. But I said,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. So here we are, you know, 3 years later, because I studied it for a year before I, you know, started making purchases and setting up my systems. But I feel like if I were to do that from the beginning, where I'd be now would be a totally different spot. I love my journey. So
Okay.
anything you do, keep doing it. But again, if you stick to, you know, one thing or very few things and keep it simple, you will excel so much faster. It's just you got to be able to weigh it out. It's not something that happens overnight. Everyone wants to get rich quick,
Hmm.
but if you could just take the time to be able to spend and say, hey, look, you know, let me just devote myself to this and let me master this one thing or two things and sell this thing or one or two things, you'll be successful. It's when you start doing all these things is where it starts to become very, very hard to sell. The client starts to become confused, and you're not going to be a master in everything.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Yeah. It's like that saying I always say. It's like you can do anything, but you can't do everything.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
because if you're too stretched thin, then you're not going to be able to solve this one specific problem and become an expert at solving that problem. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was
And
like that all the time.
I keep hearing you talk like about how you run the business, and like I see on your website too, you have like a military grade way you run it. I don't know if you want to talk more about that because like I think it's very fascinating. It's a way to stand out because when somebody wants to hire somebody, want to know that you're working well, you get the job done. So having that promoted on your website, I think it's amazing. So I would like for you to talk more about that and how you
Sure.
keep your grade high with that.
Oh yeah. So I feel like this. Everyone in our business, you know, we're a team, right? But I also want to have competitiveness within the team, and also, you know, as a group, right? So in the military, army per se,
Hmm.
you know, if you're a cavalry scout, and when you're in boot camp, the other side of the boot camp is tankers. They're on the other side. We hated tankers. We're like, they're horrible, they're horrible, they're horrible. But when you go across base, and we were allowed to go out in the second part of it, not the first part, not the boot camp, the advanced training, the Marines were over there. So if I was a scout and he was a tanker, we're going to fight with Marine guy. Now me and the tanker guy, now we're a team, right? And we're against them. And then with a different country, you know, what ends up happening
Yeah.
there is now, hey, we're Marines or Army, now we're together.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do, I like a nice separation, like installers versus sales guys.
Hmm.
We have a little competition back and forth. We keep them separated. But then again, we're one big team. So building those guys up, installers, I'll give you a quick example with them. We do like a performance pay. So anytime the guy gets you know, done and paid in the time he's supposed to, he gets a DAP bonus. And that could be every single day. You know, extra $50. Anytime he gets a review from a client, he gets another $25. Anytime he has so many reviews and has so many successful installs without having any callbacks in that month, he'll start to get stars. So, you know, a 1-star guy, you know, he gets every day that he comes to work, gets extra $25. A 2-star guy, he'll get, you know, up to 5 stars. So you can make an extra $125 per day just by doing your job every single day and basically time and service, right?
Yeah.
Time and grade.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
just like the military, you start to build that up, you build the guys up, and you know, it also is incentive for them not to leave because there's no one else going to come in paying you an extra $125 just because you're there for a long time.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
a motto I see a lot too. When we went to the mastermind as well, is that we have all of these companies that are doing really successful and driving with a great team. They give more, not equity, but they pay them out so well based off their performance, and it drives the employees to stay, work harder, come to work every day, and want to do the job. So, is that something that you keep in your business that keeps it flowing, keeps your employees in check, and working as hard as they can? Because it's across all these successful businesses. It's like a new trend, I feel like.
Oh yeah, I really feel that we've been doing it forever. I always give back. So like we always have 2 parties a year. Plus, you know, we'll get them tickets to whatever Eagles game that they want to
That's
go.
sweet.
You know, they have like a soccer thing going on in the summertime. You know, concerts and stuff like that. And just, you know, if they're good, we just, you know, we reward them. I mean, you do something over and above, not do your job, but if you're doing something over and above, you know, you should be rewarded for that.
Hmm.
You know, because the companies obviously reward with that every single day.
Did you have that from the start set in place, or did you like slowly start to adapt to those
I did
ways?
it no matter if I had one guy. Now we have 65.
Okay.
So not to that level of performance pay, but like, hey, let's go. I'm gonna take you to dinner. It was me and Orlando. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And as we started to grow, we had like I'll never forget like our first company party. I think there was like maybe 12 people there. Right now our
Yeah.
party's over 120 people. So it's pretty neat to watch. We were just one table, right? And
Yeah.
now we're a whole area where the wedding venues are. That's where we kind of take over.
It's like a family aspect too with it. It's very nice to grow like that.
Absolutely.
Um, I want to talk a lot about your social media and like personal brand presence because it's the new trend with any business growing. So like they want to see the face behind it. So like what made you start doing that? Because I know your face is everywhere. You promote it everywhere. So
Sure.
I want to hear where that started and why you went in that direction.
Okay. So I didn't even know what a podcast was 2 years ago. I think my first podcast. I thought it was something that was on YouTube, right? And maybe they are on YouTube. I still don't really. I don't watch TV. Just so you guys know, I don't
Okay.
watch TV ever. I'm definitely a weirdo that way.
Yeah.
But I have a million TVs in my house. Don't watch ever. But what I did is a guy reached out to me on Facebook, and I followed his I guess Facebook, whatever it's called, page, right? It's called The Contractor Fight. So he friend requested me, whatever, and he was on HGTV, and all of a sudden he wrote, "Hey, what do you do?" Like all of a sudden, because I guess he saw my stuff on Facebook. All I did was post whatever I do. I could care
Yeah.
less. It's not like I had any strategy. I had nothing. I just said whatever I do, I just put it on there, right? And have fun with it. I didn't even know what personal brand was. I couldn't even before like maybe 6 months ago. But what ended up happening was he said, what you do is very neat to watch. How many people you have? And we started going back and forth. He goes, "Hey, I would love to have you on my podcast." I'm like, "Cool." I don't know what that is. I asked my wife. So I'm like, "Oh, make sure I get on this thing right because you got to sign in to something and whatever." But we did the podcast, and I think it was like in November, maybe 3 years ago, maybe 2. I can't remember.
Okay.
But either way, that was like the start. So when it came out in December, I had all my Facebook was flooded with contractors from all over the country saying, "Hey, you do coaching?" I'm like, "No, I don't do no coaching. You out of your mind?" I'm like, I'm doing my business. I'm coaching my guys. So and that for like a year, I had people literally doing that. And after like a while, like some of the people were like, "Man, again, I didn't know the levels of business because I never worried about anybody else.
Yeah.
My only competition was me. So I never looked at other companies. I never seen what they were doing. I really didn't care. All I cared about was me and my people. So when they asked me for the coach, I'm like, you know what? No, I want to coach my people. I want to make them better so they make more money. And eventually, hey, that makes me more money. Right. So, eventually, a year in or whatever, and just people just, doing constant DMs and like if they saw me, I went to Denver to Tom Reber's thing, and there was like a line of people waiting to talk to me. I'm thinking like, what is going on here? Who are these people? And I didn't realize how much impact social media actually had.
Yeah.
That was the first time I realized. I'm like, oh my God, these people all know me. I don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
And they knew me from the podcast. So it was neat. So, I started doing that. And then I hired somebody, 2 people from overseas, India.
Okay.
They kind of run the social media now for me. I still do whatever I do, and I'll put a post here or there. But I really feel that is the next wave of trying to get a good team. And some of the people that I coach now, because I just picked a couple people, small people, that I want to be successful. Because again, some of the things I see out there with the coaching, it's not practical for the level that these guys are at right now.
Okay.
So they're talking over their heads. Like perfect example is the roofer you talked about earlier. He's going to talk way over your head. These guys are trying to get to $1 million. He's talking about selling a business for $20-30 million.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to crawl before you walk. And these guys are really good guys and they're really dedicated. Let's get them to the million. And then, once they get to the million, let's get them to 3 million, and then 3 million, 5 million. And these are all steps that you really need to know certain things to get there. You'll get there no matter what if you press yourself. But if you know the route to go, kind of like a Lego, right? Legos, it's a million pieces. But if you have that little book that tells you, hey, number 1, put this here, put that there, you're going to get it done. It's not going to be all that hard. It's going to be hard, but not that hard. Not as hard if you're just trying to put it together when it's just a million pieces on the table. So same exact thing. That's kind of where I got into, the branding. I just have fun with it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I just put whatever.
Yeah, that's sweet. So was there ever a moment where you were running your business along with like buying properties to where you were like, I feel like I'm going too fast. Like this doesn't feel like something doesn't feel right. Because when you're starting from nothing and you're funding the whole thing yourself, everything, you're pushing a rock uphill constantly. So like, did you ever like kind of feel that in a way?
So I think I had multiple. I always want to go full blast all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like having a good partner, in this case with my wife, to be able to pull back the reins, and say don't buy, don't buy. Let's wait until we sell this one before I buy that one, because I would press it as hard as I possibly could. So I feel like that balance of me going 180 miles an hour and her going at 50 and going, hey, slow down.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely key in my success as well.
Yeah, because that's kind of the duo that we have, to where I get like hell bent on just like go 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 go, and then he'll kind of slow me down and be like, hey, like this is good,
Right.
but we have to do this first before we
Absolutely.
can get to this, next step. I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, you need that. You need somebody
Yeah.
pushing, and you need somebody going, okay, let's watch and let's pull you back a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? You
Exactly.
want that.
Yep.
No, having that mix is great with us. I feel like
Yeah.
it works well. Like when he's flying, it gives me like more motivation to keep going, but it's also like you gotta get this done. That's something you say a lot
Oh
too
yeah,
with your business. Like, be realistic. You want to be at 20 million, but you have to do the steps at 1, 2, 3.
absolutely.
So I think that's really important for any entrepreneur starting out with their businesses. But yeah, um, putting back on like the social media aspect, because I feel like there's so much to talk about it. When we're talking about getting your face out there and people understanding it, how are the lead conversions with it? Are you getting a lot of business due to the social media, or is it just more like people knowing your name? Now you're more of like a local celebrity in the town and everything. So how is that acting in your business?
So I can tell you, I can put a kitchen on social media, and I'll get three calls, easy
Wow,
for a kitchen.
Wow.
that's crazy.
I put a bathroom on, and I'll get 3 or 4 calls. I'll be, in what we go to North Wildwood, so
Mhm.
summertime. I'm literally at a bar. This lady comes up, she's like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Who the
That
hell?
is
What's going on?" I'm like,
hilarious.
"Hey, what's
That's
going on?"
funny.
She's like, "Listen, you guys are doing my kitchen." I said, "Well, I don't know every job I do. I appreciate it. It's awesome."
Yeah.
She's like, "Here's my friend." She's like, "Oh, just so you know, as soon as we're going to settle next month, I want you to do my kitchen in the off season." So literally, I could tell you all the people down around here, and then all the people down the shore, we're doing their houses. Come end of September, October, we'll be down Wildwood, Avalon, Stone Harbor,
Mhm.
Ocean City, doing all those houses all the way till May. I try and do October to May there. It's been a game changer, and it's
Mhm.
different. Like a lot of people, these big businesses, billion-dollar PE companies, they can't compete with us because we're different. They're basic. We're not.
Mhm.
We're on social media surface level. They're paying for their stuff. It's
Yeah.
totally different. It's a totally different animal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to say it's been great for me.
I feel like seeing that too. Like when I look at other like service-based businesses or home remodeling, if any other business is going to take the route of starting the company, I feel like yours is the direct representation on what to do, because like your social media game's excellent, your business is great, like you do great work. So like we were looking into it because we're in the industry of that, seeing it like nobody tops your presence. Like they know who your business is, they know the face behind it. So it's so like important when I'm talking about it, because it's like it's the way to go now. Like
Yeah.
you have to have your
No,
face.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is touching too, because like when you do stuff for different people, and then you see them, and then they write you DM like, "Hey, that made my day."
Yeah.
That's super important too.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like that's part of the whole deal. Like it's cool making money, but it's also cool giving back.
Do you prioritize that a lot, like charity donations, putting back time in the community and like the town? Because Washington Township's obviously a local town.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. I'm very good friends with the mayor, the chief. They're really good people. They're all about the community, and they do a lot already. But what we did is we started a little group, Small Business Big Heart,
Okay.
where I just bought 500 school bags. I'll be giving those out,
Nice.
wow.
to people that need them
Yeah, that's pretty
as
awesome.
well. So I bought them before I even started the organization. So, so
Yeah.
I already know it's going to work. That's
Yeah.
how I feel,
Yeah.
and I don't care. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Those kids are deserving too.
Yeah.
Did you have a point in your journey to where you were like, this could work? Like, because when you're starting out, everything, you're skeptical about everything. And like we kind of feel the same way. So like I'm kind of asking for us personally is like, did you ever reach that point where you were like, I see that like this has the opportunity to become something huge?
So I think whatever I do, I can make work. Right?
Okay.
Does it always happen? No.
Yeah.
But as your mind says, it's going to work. You do it every day. You're trying to get better every day. You'll make it work. But to what level to make it work, it could actually go. So certain things you can only take so far.
Mhm.
And again, I hate to say, there's a ceiling, but there really is. Like for me, some of the things you just can't get over, right?
Mhm.
But certain things you could scale and go, and you start thinking broader. Because again, in the same time, someone can make $100,000, someone can make $20 million, right? So it's all about, hey, how can I step back and make more money with the same amount of time? And then,
Mm-hmm.
hey, what things in the trades are going to make me more money if I continue to do these things? And what jobs am I getting super easy that I can make money on? And let me just stick to that instead of doing everything. Because I feel like, hey, when you start doing everything, that's where you start to lose some of that efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
some of that profit, and then you can't scale it.
On like another advice scale too, I'd love to hear this from you. You started out with doing like basic renovations, like you said, you didn't even know what you're doing at
Flipping properties, all
flip.
that stuff.
So you started out in that aspect, but then now you're obviously like I see you're doing like home renovations for like famous celebrities, like sports players. How do you hold yourself accountable, and how do you like bring yourself to the table when upgrading and doing work for higher end clients? So like, do you act like you've been there before? Like, obviously you're there now, but
Right.
when you first started out, like, how did you carry yourself and keep that confidence to know you could do it?
So I'm going to go back to networking, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 20, I called a guy. Name of the company was Just Finished Basements. And I said, hey, I want to do your flooring because that's what I did, flooring. And he's like, who are you? And he's like, I never even heard of you. And he didn't. I called him on his lawn sign. I think I just call people on lawn sign. I didn't
Yeah.
care. And, I went out there and I met him. And I'm like, yo, just give me a shot. Because at first he just hung up on me. So I'm like, I don't give up. So I kept on calling him. He's like, dude, like, what do you want? I'm like, well, I just want to meet with you. I
Yeah.
said, listen, here's the worst thing. You tell me no,
Mm-hmm.
right? The best thing is you give me a shot. And then I get your business. So I go out there, I meet him. He's huge, he's jacked. He's got all his stuff together. He's blowing out basements in like 2 weeks. Fastest guy I've ever met, faster than we'll ever do it.
Yeah.
Right. And I know the system. It's
Mhm.
just I'm not there all the time. You have to be there. So as long as I can do it, double that time, I'm okay. Right. But so I learned a lot from him, and he did a lot of high end clients. And I never cared if you made a dollar or $1 million a year. I treated everybody the same. I've always done that. I always will. So everyone puts on their pants the same way. No one's better than anybody else, and
Mhm.
everyone has an opportunity to make money.
Yep.
So, when I started going to those higher end clients, I'm like, oh, this house is beautiful. I'll never have nothing like this. In the back of my head, I'm thinking, maybe I will, but not anytime soon, right?
Yeah.
So, everyone had the nice car in the garage. I'm like, oh, that's an awesome BMW.
Yeah.
Man, I would love to have something like that. And, it's good for me because I would always be happy for people. I'd never be like, oh, this guy didn't do anything for that. I always, kind of looked up to people or said, hey, listen, how did you get there? Try to talk to them, hear their story, understand what they did or what they didn't do to make sure that they got successful. But I feel like that kind of put me in place. And I feel like, again, it's mindset, it's karma, doing well for people. And, I did my first Eagles guy. Well, I did Stephen A. Smith way back when
Okay.
through
Wow.
the basement guy. And he
Okay.
was super cool. And this is when he was way less popular. But we did his basement first with the guy. His name is Rich. And then I drew out, I was pretty good at drawing. So I literally looked at the fireplace. I drew out a fireplace. So what do you think of this? And then all his boys were there. He's
Yeah.
yeah, do it, yeah, do it. So I came back and I did it the next day, and it really did. It looked freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And because I literally I could draw it and then I could do it.
Yeah.
So in the bathroom, his master bathroom, because he had a basic house. We did his basement first. He saw what we did there. Then we did the kitchen. Then we did the family room. Then I did the master bedroom. Kind of worked our way around. That was in. And then Eagles game. I went there and met Vinny Curry. That was like my first guy that I
Wow.
met. I didn't even know who he was because I didn't know any of the Eagles other than the name Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
But then I became friends with all those guys, and they're really good guys.
Mhm.
And I don't treat them different than I treat any of my friends, and they know like I don't need anything from them. A lot
Mhm.
of those guys, people use them. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't need anything. I have my own money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nor do I really know that much about how good they were
Mhm.
until I started doing. I'm like, oh my god, he's great. And then it was cool watching the games. I go there, I'm like, yo, make sure I don't get hurt or someone hits them. I'm like, I'm ready to go out there and fight. That type of stuff. So yeah, it was definitely an awesome experience, and
Nice.
I still have that with some of the guys.
How do you like avoid, because you're obviously like a very generous and caring person. I can already tell just based off of personality. But how do you avoid people using that as like against you, or like how do you avoid people taking advantage of you almost?
So again, I mean, people ask for like donations all the time. So
Mhm.
pretty much say, hey, look, if it's something I'm already doing it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So not that I want to help out. It's just I just do my things for the people that I know or the people around me,
Mhm.
and I kind of try and stay away from all that because again, listen, it could turn into something good. I mean, One time, the guy writes me, and I get it all the time. Facebook me, friend requests me. Hey, I went to high school here. Cool, cool. Hey, next thing you know, I get a GoFundMe. I'm like, cool. What's this about? Hey, I haven't worked in 5 years. I'm going to lose my house. I got kids. I got this. I got that. So I didn't write back. He's like, I've been looking for a job. And, my wife's whatever. So long story short, a month later, 2 months later, he goes, hey, you never got back to me on my donation. I'm like, yeah, I think you don't deserve anything. I told him straight up. I said, you didn't work for 5 years. I mean, he goes, yeah, but I couldn't get a job. I said, bullshit.
Yeah.
There's a million
I
jobs
feel
out
you got
there.
to find something
Oh yeah.
eventually,
So
dude. Come on.
anyway, I ended up buying the house
Yeah.
and renting it to him. And then the guy, he got the house from his grandmother, gifted it to him. So he got an inheritance. Never paid the taxes. He owed 40 grand. By the time I got it, I had to buy it for 48 grand. He paid a couple months, didn't pay a couple months. I evicted him out, put about 100 into it, and sold it for 350. So,
Wow.
oh yeah. But at least
Wow.
I gave him the opportunity to,
Yeah.
you know,
Of course, you gave him the
get it back.
opportunity. So I have a quote pulled up. I wanna hear your opinions on it. But authenticity is the only form of marketing that compounds over time. Because I know you said you're big on word of mouth, and a lot of people, especially in home service, they go all in on marketing. So to anybody who's just starting out, what would your advice be to them? Should they focus more on like doing a good job in word of mouth or spending money on like Google or Meta ads?
So different goals,
Mm-hmm.
different things. So how I did it isn't the marketing thing. It was, hey, build a good business, learn how to do it right, build the relationships up, and do any free marketing you can. There's so many things you can do for free.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is free. Local groups is free. Getting your business cards and throwing them in. Go to Home Depot is illegal, but throw your business cards in the tile boxes is
Yeah, I don't
free.
blame you.
You know what I mean? And even if you're just hanging out in the store and you see a customer and
Yeah.
they're looking for tile, listen, open your mouth.
Yeah.
Open your mouth, talk to whoever. Let everyone know what you do, where you are. There's networking events all the time. August 27th, you guys got to come. We're doing, I got Big Dom coming from the Eagles and Vinny Curry.
Sweet.
I'm going to talk about, a little bit about scaling businesses. I'm going to talk about real estate. And it's $50 for a ticket. All that's going to go to our little organization. And
Okay.
this way we're going to give it back.
Sweet.
So, but again, I really feel like, hey, that's one way to do it, and you'll build that forever.
Mhm.
But if you're looking to scale business, and you have the money and backing, and not a lot of people do, because it costs you a lot of money, you put 10% of your business revenue into marketing. That's like the magic number. And this way you can grow that type of business. So, Anderson, just so you have an idea, Anderson Renewal puts 30% of their marketing dollars right back into their advertising.
Okay.
But their profit margin's low, but it's so big that that they're good with that. They can sustain that.
So you know Big Dom from the Eagles?
Big Dom's probably the best guy around.
That guy is hilarious.
He's awesome. He's just he's a great person. That's why
Yeah.
everyone wants to come. All the players want to come.
Yeah.
He's just a great person.
That's pretty cool.
We'll definitely be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're invited.
Yeah,
sure.
we'll have to text you about that or
Yeah.
something to buy those tickets,
Yeah. So another thing now. So originally you were talking about how you didn't want to do coaching. What was the because I know you said you're doing it a little bit at least now. What was the different vision you saw with it to start doing it? Is it just you wanted to help people, or were you looking at a market within it?
Yeah. So once I got to the point where, and this was last August, that I was working on the business 90% of the time, never 100%. I know people say, "Oh, you got to work on the business all the time." No, I'm still in the business sometimes. I probably shouldn't be. I jump right back in, but I like it. I'm competitive. I like to sell. I see them doing good. I'm doing good. Or if I see them doing bad, I got to jump start them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll jump in there and do what I had to do. But I feel like doing that is kind of where it got me where I am now. So it's kind of where.
So do you think of it as giving back in a sense when you coach
So
people?
so yeah, once I got to again work on the business, then I had free time.
Yeah.
So why not the guys that kind of not bother me, but were asking me the whole time, you know what, let's do it. And the one guy, I basically said, hey, look, you're not making the revenue that I think you should right now. So I dropped his price by a third because I said, hey, the other money is going to go toward building your business. I don't really care about the money so much. I'd rather see them be successful.
Gotcha.
What's the number one advice that you give someone if you onboard them as a coaching client?
So nothing ever gets easier. You just get better at dealing with it. And as
Okay.
long as you have it in the back of your head, the more you do, the more issues come up, the more you're able to handle those objections or handle those problems, the better and more fast and more understanding you're going to be of business and how to build it up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
It's
it's crazy to see how like you hold yourself and how your business is successful like this, because we hear about it on YouTube videos, you see it online, but seeing it in person, it's so much different. Because they always say have these traits, but it seems nearly impossible. Because there's so many aspects in life. Like there's negative things that are happening, bad businesses being done. You get screwed out of a deal. But like from your perspective, it doesn't matter. Like
Right?
it's next.
Oh
It's
yeah,
whatever's next.
absolutely.
So seeing that firsthand, it's inspiring in an aspect, because there's so many things that happen every day. But yeah.
Have you ever had anything funny happen on like a celebrity job or anything?
Not that I want to share here.
Okay. No, I don't blame you. I just wanted to throw it out
I definitely
there.
had some crazy stuff, but
Um, Here I got another question. How do you view your responsibility to people who work under you who might be younger than you? So like how do you I don't know how to word it.
Like, how do you, when you have a worker that's younger, do you feel obligated to like show them a different way and like give them more drive into their work than like somebody higher than that's 40 years old or
oh
50
yeah.
years
So
old?
so I feel like that makes a difference to it. Great question.
Mhm.
I like to do this. I like to say, hey, look, you're 24, you're 26, you're 20. Listen, start now. I'm going to show you what I did. I'll show you the path.
Mhm.
I'll even, once you start working here for at least 3 years, I'll start showing you how to flip houses. Because listen, I don't care what job you work, how much money you make, you're going to pay a lot of taxes
Yeah.
unless you start owning real estate. That's the only way to become easiest way to become a millionaire. Use your money that you're making from whatever job you may do. I don't care, if you're sweeping floors or, if you're a top executive CEO, those guys get whacked with taxes.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to have something that is going to offset those taxes, still make money, still drive revenue while you're sleeping. And that's rental properties. So I always want to show those guys,